How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another editing session. So today we're working with a cool little waterfall photo that I got just the other day, and we've got this really neat little waterfall and a couple different series of falls, and right at the top of the image we've got this little yellow aspen. It's just kind of glowing at the top of the frame, and it's really cool. It's a neat image, and we're gonna work on processing that today. So let's jump into Lightroom here and start working on this. So first, I think what we're gonna do is, I set this up to be a little bit of a focus stack. So we have my three images right here. If you look down at the bottom, I have 7, 8, and 9. Those are the three images that I'm gonna be working with. And just so you know, I shot this at 0.5 seconds, so we didn't do too long of an exposure, but it wasn't, you know, too short that we actually froze the motion in the water, but we got just enough motion in there that it kind of gives a little bit of energy to those falls, and it's not totally smoothed out. So we shot it at 0.5 seconds with f11, and with it being shot at f11, we almost don't need to do a focus stack, but I'm going to do one anyways just to kind of see how it turns out. If it fails, it fails, but we'll see. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my exposure to match just a little bit better on these three images, or at least just brighten them up a bit. So I have my first one here, and I'm honestly just going to raise this probably like to 40. Yeah, right there. And then I might boost the shadows just a little bit. Right there's good. Maybe drop the highlights. Just giving ourselves a little bit of a starting position. And I might turn our color temperature just a little bit warmer right there. Maybe about 5700. Yeah, I like that. So just a little before, after. Very subtle change, but now what we're going to do is just apply that same edit to the other two images in this focus stack series. So I have my first one, and I'm just going to click, hold down shift and click on that last one, and I'm going to hit sync and synchronize. Okay, so now that we have that all synced up, let's take these three photos into Photoshop into our focus stack. So make sure our three photos are selected. We're going to come up here to Photo, drop down to Edit In, and we're going to open as layers in Photoshop. And what this is going to do is it's going to take all three of those images and it's going to stack them on top of each other in Photoshop. And now we're going to go through and do the actual stacking process. We may be able to do a auto stack. I don't know if that's going to work just with the water. We'll see. We may have to do this a little bit manually. So if we do have to do it manually, it's fairly simple. So we'll see what we have to do here. So first off, I'm going to make sure that I have all three selected, and I'm going to come up to Edit, and I'm going to go to Auto Align Layers. Now we want to make sure that all three of our layers are lined up, so when it does the stack, that everything lines up perfectly. And this is just to kind of combat the focus breathing. So let's have auto projection on, hit OK. This should be pretty quick. Sometimes it's pretty quick. Okay, and everything's aligned. And I shot this on a tripod, so everything's already pretty lined anyways. So, okay, we're gonna keep everything selected, come back up to Edit, and we're gonna hit Auto Blend. And this is gonna be interesting to see what this does. So we're gonna hit Stack Images. Okay, that actually worked pretty well, I think. Yeah, I think that worked decently well. I do like that. Okay, well that was easy. So now what I have over here on my right side is I have my three stacked layers, and I have all the different layer masks that break those up into the different sharpness layers, and everything's merged into this one layer. I'm going to create a copy just because I like to have a good background image, just in case everything needs to be started over again. So I'm hitting Command J to copy that. And now what I want to do here is just figure out exactly what I want to do to this image. So just kind of thinking through maybe what's wrong, where I want my eye to be led to, where I want the viewer's eye to be led to. Our main subject obviously is this waterfall and the tree right here in the back. But then we also have this little log right here that works as a leading line, and then these little rapids right here. So what I kind of want to do is accentuate this line just a little bit and accentuate the brightness in some of these waterfalls, but I don't want to have the brightness levels down here overpower the brightness levels of everything up here, which we do need to brighten everything up here at the top of our screen at our focus point. So let's start here with let's just do a little dodge and burn layer. So we're going to create a layer and make sure our brush is on. So I'm hitting B to select our brush, and I'm gonna hit X. X is just a hotkey to swap between your two colors right here. And we have those kind of warmer white tones. And let's make sure our blend mode is set to overlay. And we're not gonna be very selective with this. Let's make sure our opacity flow is down a little bit. And our hardness is at 0%, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in here, and I'm just gonna kind of lighten this just ever so slightly. As you can see, there's little bits of leaves stuck to this branch, so that's what's making it kind of a golden color. So maybe hit some of these rocks a little bit. I do want to hit this leaf, a little bit of this branch, maybe some of these right here. We'll come back through and we'll brighten up the water using a luminosity mask. So we're not going to hit these little waterfall points just yet. Let's hit this yellow tree just real quick. We're gonna be real, just kind of loose and quick with it. So, and we're kind of thinking of where the light is coming from this tree. So the sun is coming from it's technically coming from the left side of the image, but it's reflecting off the rocks on the right and lighting it up. So we have a little bit more reflective light here than normal. So let's go back to brush. Lighten that up just a little bit. I think what I'm gonna do too is maybe we'll brighten up some of these rock patterns up here. I'm gonna darken this down just a little bit when we get to that in just a moment. But all right, that's a pretty good start. So before, after, just brightening up just a couple little spots here and there. Actually, I'm gonna hit right there. Okay, too easy. Now let's work on these rapids. I'm going to create another layer, make sure we're on overlay. I'm going to do a luminosity mask. I'm going to come up here to the TK luminosity mask plugin. I'm going to hit the little interface button, and I'm going to do lights 1. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's keep those whites a little bit warmer. And we'll come down here, and it should be only targeting these lighter sections. So we'll just start brightening up some of these white spots. Remember, we have a lot of warm light coming in here, so we're using a warmer highlight tone. Let's do a little before, after. Woo! Okay, that's looking good. Hit right in there. Oh, I like this image a lot. This is cool. Maybe try to accentuate a little bit more of this kind of rapid, some of the whites in the water right here. So you can see we have this kind of swirling effect right here at the bottom, so kind of accentuating that. Okay, before, after. I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, this could be a pretty quick edit, actually. This might not take that long at all. So, let's see. You know what? Actually, I do want to brighten this up just a little bit more. Just a little bit more punch down here. So we have two different, if you look at it, we have two different waterfall light values. So we have these little falls right here that are pretty dark, and then we have all these ones up here that are really bright. So we're gonna come up here and maybe darken down some of the darker spots in here. I actually do want to hit this little rock right here, just ever so slightly. Okay, we're gonna create another layer. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna do, let's try a levels adjustment, and we'll add a luminosity mask to the levels adjustment. Okay, lights 1, it's perfect. And we'll just... You know what, that's doing more of a global thing, and I don't really want it to do that. No, I don't like that. I'm not doing that. Let's see here. What do we want to do? Maybe let's put on a levels adjustment again, and we'll just invert it. Let's keep it on, actually, though, so when we do our adjustments, we can actually see what we're doing. And... okay, I think it's pretty good. Now we're going to invert it. So Command I, and then I'm coming through with a brush, and I am painting in the spots that we applied that levels adjustment to, or that we're wanting to apply that levels adjustment to. Maybe we need a little heavier brush just to make it go a little quicker. Before, after. Okay, that's cool. I like that. All right, let's see. What do we want to do here now? Let's do a little burn layer. So I'm going to throw up another layer here. Make sure our blend mode is on soft light. And I'm going to go to my brush, hit X to turn that color to black. And then I'm going to hit another luminosity mask here. But I'm going to do a darks one. And then I'm going to go through and try and darken down some of these tones in here just ever so slightly. Let's turn that mask or that brush down just a little bit. That's good right there. Creating a little bit more contrast in that waterfall. So just ever so slightly. I'm going to try to make this rock punch out just a little bit. Let's hit this side. The other side of that. Yeah. All right, let's see here. What do we want to hit now? Maybe hit some of these rocks here at the bottom. Let's see. Maybe we got a pretty good amount of contrast right in here, so I might actually come back to this and brighten up that little stick in the front just a little bit more. Make sure we're on that whiter tone. Come through. Just hit it again. Okay. Might actually try to hit these waterfalls just a little bit more. We might actually come through with a radial mask in a moment and hit that. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna burn down this portion of the rock. So I think I'm gonna do a curves adjustment, and then, yeah, I think that's pretty good right there. We'll invert that, and we're gonna paint in where we want that applied. Let's add a little bit more opacity to our brush just to make this go a little quicker. And maybe increase the size of that. I like that. We're just trying to draw the eye into the middle of the frame here. So we don't want the eye to escape. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so let's bring this into Camera Raw. I'm gonna come down here to the copy. Remember, everything below here just it doesn't really matter to us anymore. So we're gonna hit this copy, and we're gonna come up to the top, hold down Shift, click, and we're gonna come to, actually, hold on, we gotta do Command, Option, Shift, and E. And now we're going to bring this into Camera Raw. Okay, so now what we're gonna do in Camera Raw is just apply some gradient. So I'm gonna do a radial gradient right here. I think I'm gonna bump up this little middle part. And let's see. Yeah, I think I like that right there. Okay, I have my feather at 100. I think that's fine. Just hit the whites. Maybe warm warm it up. I don't know. Let's see. No, I don't know if I like it warmed up too much. Maybe we will though. I do like that right there at a +4 in the temperature. And let's make another one. And we got to think about where do we want the eye to go. So we're going to create a slight radial mask over where we want the eye to go. So I'm putting one over this tree right here, and we're going to bump the whites on that one just a little bit. And we might actually pull back the dehaze, just kind of bring up the whites just a little bit. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing an image like this that has a lot of depth, or a good way, I guess, to create depth in an image is everything in your background, everything further away in your scene is not going to have true blacks in it. It's going to be more faded blacks. So if you can remove all the solid blacks in the further parts of your scene, then you'll be able to create a little bit more depth. So let's see, let's maybe raise the blacks up just a little bit. We don't want to go too much because we still want to have a little bit of punch in that tree. Okay, I think that's good right there. Before, and after. Okay, let's do a little slight vignetting. Let's do a big old radial gradient. Let's invert it, pull our feather down, and we're gonna do, I'm only focusing this on the bottom of my frame, so I'm gonna erase everything at the top, and then we'll do our own gradient up at the top. I think that one works right there pretty well. Yeah, we'll come down, we'll just hit our exposure just a little bit. Might actually boost the contrast. Maybe let's bring the feather down. Just raise this up ever so slightly. Okay, I think that's good. We'll come through with a brush and we'll subtract those parts of the mask up at the top. Size up and just remove all of that. Okay, I think that's cool. I'm gonna do one more little gradient here. I might do a linear gradient right here. And just pull that exposure down ever so slightly. So you bring it in a little bit more. All right. Okay, so I think now what I want to do is just a little slight color grading. So let's do, oh, actually, you know what? I don't do this often, but I'm going to do a linear gradient. I'm going to throw it right here in the middle of the frame. And I'm going to add a little bit of clarity. This is not something I normally do, but I'm going to add a little bit of clarity here to the bottom. Yeah, just a little bit more sharpness, add a little bit more detail to the bottom of the frame. And does this look too purple? Let's see. No, I think it's fine. Yeah, we're good on purples. Okay. I'm going to come to the color mixer, saturation, and I'm going to try to boost that orange just a little bit. I think that's pretty good right there. Let's see. What happens when we do this? Yeah, we can bump that up. What happens if we hit the vibrancy? That's a little more color. I don't want to go overboard on the color, but I'm actually going to come down here and pull some of the blues down. Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. Let's see. I'm just messing with the luminance on the blues. I think that's probably pretty good right there. Let's check out a before and an after, before, after. I do a lot of stuff in Photoshop, but that doesn't mean that Camera Raw and Lightroom are not totally powerful. A little color grading. I'm going to take the shadows and move them into the blues. Maybe keep about right there in midtones. Remember, this is fall time. We've got a lot of reflective light, so we can kind of warm up our midtones just a little bit. Right there, I think that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks pretty good. before, after, before, after. Yeah, I like that. Well, I don't know. Do I like that color grade? I don't like when you get like a dingy orange color. Because there's some parts of this that just look kind of unnatural being that color. Like this rock over here, I don't love it. I don't know, maybe it's fine. Maybe let's tone the temperature down just a little bit to combat that. Before, after. Yeah, I think that's good. Now I'm gonna pull a little bit more. I'm gonna put a little bit more blue back in. So we're gonna go to the saturation, pull the blue up just a little bit. Maybe. That looks weird. Why does it look so weird? Hold on, let's go to the color calibration. That's a little bit better. There we go. And I'm just kind of seeing what happens with what. I just don't like the color of the rocks. I don't know what it is. I don't know, maybe it's fine. Before and after, before, after. Let's see, I'm gonna come back here. Maybe it's just the color grading. Sometimes I struggle with color grading. I don't know, I think that looks fine. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Let's keep it there. All right, let's go back to Photoshop. So I'm gonna hit OK, and we're back in Photoshop. Okay, so now what I want to do, first I've got a, nah, I'm gonna leave it. I was kind of debating taking this little branch here out, but I think I'm gonna leave it. Okay, we're gonna do a little Orton effect. So Command J, filter. We're gonna go to Gaussian blur, 24.7. I'm gonna hit image, adjustments, brightness, contrast. We're jacking the contrast up. Maybe the brightness just a tinge. And then we are adding a little bit of warm tone to our colors, our highlights and midtones here. So just hitting the yellows. I found that if I hit the red, sometimes it adds a little bit of purple hue, and that's never good. Okay, we're gonna do a luminosity mask on lights 1. Hit OK. Blend mode, soft light, opacity, about 35. Okay, I think that's pretty good. There's still something about the colors that I'm kind of struggling with. I don't know if there's like a purple in there that's just bugging. I don't know what it is. Hold on, let's do a quick let's see here. Hold on, I'm gonna do a selective color. We're gonna come to magentas and just see what happens. I think that's what it is. Yeah, it's the magentas. I think that's pretty good right there. Yeah, ever so slightly. There's just a little bit of a purple hue in some of the highlights down here at the bottom, and it was bugging me. Okay, so we're gonna combine all of these, layer 4 all the way up to the selective color layer, Command, Option, Shift, E, and we're going to create a high pass filter. So I'm going up to Filter, Other, High Pass, and we are keeping the high pass. Let's see, what do we wanna do? Let's maybe bump it up a tiny bit. Maybe go like 1.9, or maybe let's go 2. Nah, 1.9 is good. Okay, blend mode soft light. All right. I think that's all right. That's not bad. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna do Command W, bring this back into Lightroom. There's still something about the colors that's bothering me. I can't figure out what it is. Honestly, it might be that color grade that we did. All right, so we're back here in Lightroom. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on with this color. So I'm gonna actually make a little bit of a bigger image here. Let's come down to our color panel, and let's see, actually, maybe our midtones, maybe let's cool the midtones back down. That's not bad right there. Maybe we'll come there, and then we'll come to our color panel, and we'll pull down the aqua. What does that do? Does that do anything? That does do something. I actually like that. I like kind of taking some of the blue out. Maybe that's what it was. It was just that there's too much gray here that's kind of sitting with the blue, and I don't know if I like that as much. Pull a little bit of the blue out, desaturate it just a tiny bit, and I think that might have done it, yeah. Cool. This is a cool image. I really like this. I'm gonna do, let's see, one more little gradient overlay here. Make sure it's kind of small. I'm gonna invert it. I'm gonna do a slight vignette at the very, very top. Let's pull that feather in. Very slight. Okay, I'm gonna go to my subtract, hit brush, make sure my flow and density are up really high just because I want to do this kind of quick, and I'm just gonna erase everything here at the bottom of the screen. I don't want any of that vignette at the bottom. Actually going to tone this mask down a little bit. So I have my amount here. I'm just gonna pull the amount down. This is almost like the opacity. It's almost like selecting the opacity on a filter or a layer in Photoshop. So I'm gonna pull the opacity down to maybe like 65. So yeah, I like that. Okay. Now, I think what I want to do, I'm gonna bump the whites here just ever so slightly again. So I'm just gonna do a quick little brush on this little section right here, and I'm just gonna come through and hit the whites. Maybe some of the highlights actually. Nope, a little too much. Yeah. That's pretty good right there, I think. All right, now last thing, as usual, I like to come down here to my tone curve, and I hit the very, very bottom, down to the blacks, and I raise them like 4 or 5. And then I will put a little bit more contrast back into this. There. I like that a lot. That's cool. What happens if I bump the shadows up? I might actually do a little brush right here at the bottom. Just this really dark portion. Then I'm gonna come down here to the shadows and just lift the shadows a little bit. Just get a little bit more, bring a little bit more visual into whoa, what's going on? Into what's going on here at the very, very bottom. Yeah, that's cool. And as usual, I like to look at this under soft proofing just because I like how that white border looks. Yeah, I think that's neat. I think that's pretty neat. Extra punch here. No. Okay, so just looking at this real quick from what we did in Lightroom after putting it into Photoshop. So we have our before and our after, and I like that a lot. I think it looks really, really good. So let me know what you think. So we're gonna leave this one here. As usual, there's a little before and after the very end of the video, so make sure you stay for that, just so you can see the full process from what it looks like from the raw image to the final produced image. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Leave a like, make sure you subscribe, and come back for more of these. As usual, they're here every single Sunday, and I love doing them. Let me know if you like doing them. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see, any other editing methods or anything like that. This one we did a focus stack, obviously, so it's a little different than normal, but yeah, let me know what you think about the image, and if there's something you would have done better or different or anything like that. And again, thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Have a good one. Bye.